Oh, I'm not exactly sure why, but you guys have been asking to see the FTX Zorro out once again here on the channel, so today we're going to take another look. Now, to be fair, it's been over a year since we see the Zorro here on the channel, so it does make sense to revisit it because it is still one of the best cheap trucks you can currently buy. Now, this is the second time this week I've come out in this seriously cold British weather to bring you guys a video, so show me some support and hit that subscribe button. So back to the Zorro then. Now, the last time we see this, I actually let my good friend Alex test drive this, so essentially I didn't really do a review of it. Now, on the last video, Alex said he really enjoyed it. We actually tested it on 2S and 3S. On 2S it performed perfectly fine. On 3S we actually managed to kill it. Take a look at this. Right then, so we're going to leave it there. How did you...
it stinks. It smells.
I also noticed the included steering servo wasn't really up to the job and it did feel a bit sluggish. Now, I didn't actually spend much time with the truck in its stock form. I actually converted it to brushless quite soon after that video and it performed perfectly fine on its brushless setup, but today we've reverted everything back to normal. This is box stock now and we're going to give this a fair review. So the truck is back to how it would have been if we just took it out the box. It's now running exactly the same electronics. We've got the stock servo in there, the stock ESC, and I've also replaced the motor because we managed to burn that one out. Now, we're not going to be doing any speed runs today because, as you can see, we haven't got ideal conditions. Now, I know Tom Lee RC covered this truck in a fair bit of detail and I'm pretty sure he actually done a 2S and a 3S speed run. I will leave a link to his video down below, so go and check that out if you want to know how fast this is on the stock electronics using a 2S LiPo. And if you missed the first video that I did on this and all the fun that I had with my good mate Alex, again, I will leave a link down below for you to check that one out.
GPS is gone.
Now, in case you're wondering what you actually get in the box, here's a quick look. So in the box you get an 1800 mAh nickel metal hydride battery. Now, this is going to be perfectly good enough to get you up and running, but I would definitely invest in a higher capacity battery. Now, this can be another nickel metal hydride battery, or if I was you, I would go for a LiPo battery. And if you're just starting out and you're unsure or scared to run LiPo batteries in your RC trucks, I have also done a LiPo guide here on my channel and I will leave a link again down below. We also get a charger for the battery. You've got two very in-depth black and white manuals which feature your parts list. You've also got exploded diagrams and a quick start guide if you're just starting out. Now, when it comes to the transmitter, I was never really a fan of this thing. The quality's not great, but again, it's good enough to get you up and running. It's got all of your usual trim features as you would expect. Now, if you don't want to click away and check out the original video, it's your lucky day because I'm also going to include all the chassis features that this truck comes with in this video. So we have got metal oil-filled and adjustable shocks front and rear, and the rear shocks are enormous on this thing. We've got a rear sway bar which is really cool, and there are so many points of adjustment on this if you want to fine-tune your truck. We've got metal drive shafts at the front and ball bearings throughout, and underneath we have got a plastic drive shaft which sends the power to the rear. Now, overall, considering this truck only costs £125 at the moment, I think that is an incredible price and this thing is a steal. Now, in comparison, a lot of the cheaper Chinese stuff that I've also featured on the channel actually costs more than this truck. There is only one issue though, I don't think this is available in the US. Now, I know there's a huge amount of you who do watch my channel on a regular basis who are actually based in the US. I think it's about 40% of you. Now, I do apologise, it's not available over there, but you have got an alternative. Now, the alternative for you is the Senton 4x2 by ARRMA. That thing is a great beginner platform. It's highly upgradable. Yes, it's more money, but it's also better made. I've done a couple of videos on that already, so make sure you check those out. I'm also in the process of upgrading that to brushless. I've given that truck to my son. He absolutely loves it and I cannot wait to see how it performs brushless. Right, I am absolutely freezing here. Let's get a battery in this and let's see how it performs. Who remembers these LiPos? Florian. This thing's been going for years and it's never let me down. Now, like I said, this thing is using the stock servo once again. Just take a look. It's not very powerful, very slow and sluggish. Right then, so let's give this another go. Let's get it straight on the ice. Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. Now, I know I'm in the snow and it's very icy, but it's still gripping quite well considering. The shocks feel really nice on this. It just feels like a very controllable truck. Now the brush system does feel a little bit slow, and I'm pretty sure me and Alex pointed that out when we done the first video. But that doesn't make this a bad truck. Now I know there's some people out there who have had issues with the stock electronics. Me and Alex weren't the only ones who faced issues. Now they use a 23 tooth pinion on this, on a non-adjustable motor mount. I can't help but wonder, could it be overgeared a little bit? Maybe, which is why it's putting such a stress on the electronics and they're not lasting very long. I've changed location, I've come over to my favourite little area here to give this thing a proper go. Now the snow is obviously putting a lot of stress on the electronics as well. That's obviously not helping the situation. It's a quick little truck though. Quick little truck. Hey! This thing is ideal for someone starting out. You know, I've said it so many times with some of these cheap trucks. You don't have to spend a fortune on an ARRMA or a Traxxas to have fun. You know, this thing is going to be more than enough for most people. I am starting to see some smoke coming out of the motor. I think the conditions today are just a little bit too harsh for this truck. But this is Beyond RC and we like to push the limits, which is why we're going to carry on. This is why I like testing things out. I like to push the boundaries a little bit to show you guys what these cars can do. And to prepare you for the worst, really. Because if it happens to me, it could happen to you. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I want to see some GoPro footage. Let's get the GoPro out before this thing dies. Now unfortunately we had to cut the GoPro footage short because it did stop and I was certain I'd killed it, but it does still seem to be running. I don't think for much longer though. That motor is on its way out. Oh. So there we go then guys, yet again I've managed to kill it. But the fact that I've killed this thing twice now, is this still a good truck? Well yes, absolutely, because in normal conditions I think it will perform fine. Now we have to remember the first time me and Alex took this thing out, it ran perfectly fine for the entire video up until we ran the 3S pack, and that was what killed it. Today obviously we've been running this in the snow and ice, which is putting so much stress on the electronics, which is probably why it's died again. Now those of you out there who don't want to go for the Chinese stuff off of Banggood or AliExpress, cars like this are perfect for you. And like I said earlier on in the video, this is actually not much more expensive than a cheap Chinese car. And that is because they have increased prices on some of the cheaper stuff so much that they're actually not really worth it anymore. Now we spoke about this briefly on my last video when I compared Relalo to WL Toys. If you missed that one, check that out as well, because I did cover some important points. Chinese cars are becoming quite expensive, which means we need to fall back onto the well-known stuff and the branded stuff. And if you don't want to pay Traxxas or ARRMA prices, this thing is going to do you perfectly. Now the fact that I've killed it twice, please don't let that put you off. If you're in the UK, grab one of these at the current price. £125 is dirt cheap. Stick a cheap brushless system in it, change the steering servo, and what you have is a very reliable truck which also performs really well. And if you are a beginner but you still want to go for a more expensive brand, definitely check out the ARRMA 4x2 range. So there we go then guys, we're going to leave the video there today. I really hope you enjoyed seeing the Zorro back out again for another run. Yes, it wasn't a very successful run, but it was still enjoyable. And again, if you haven't already, make sure you've subscribed to the channel. I've got loads of stuff planned for 2023. Last night I hit 18,500 subscribers, and I've actually managed to get close to 20,000 in less than 3 years. And that is thanks to you guys constantly supporting me here on the channel. Cheers for watching, see you on the next one. Take care. Now that may be the end of today's video, but please don't feel like you have to click away. If you want to check out my top 5 cheap RC cars for Christmas 2022, click the top video, or click the video below if you want to check out that ARRMA Senton 4x2 that I've been banging on about this entire video.